let's talk about what's going on, because I think our viewers need to have a really good understanding of why this is all kind of coming to a head. And most importantly, why Iran itself is using proxies to be able to wage the types of attacks and terrorist attacks that it's doing.
You know, you're right. Very few people look at it from the 60,000-foot level, and it's important to do so because this is reflective of Iran's general foreign policy objectives across the region. Their goals are to destabilize the region so that they can increase their influence across the Middle East. At the heart of this is not a conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. This is a conflict about Iran trying to export its influence, the Shia crescent, as I'm sure you've also heard. At the heart, you have a fight between Sunni and Shia. I know that simplifies it a lot, but that is what's at the heart of this. And as a result of that, they do not like U.S. presence in the region, which is specifically there to counter terrorist groups. Because if we are not there, they will proliferate even further and export their nefarious and destabilizing behavior. And that is what is at the crux of this.
So let's talk practical matters then. How does the United States keep this from escalating into something bigger, considering the fact that we've already had a United States-Britain response in the Red Sea, in the southern Red Sea, to the attacks by the Houthi rebels from Yemen, who are a terrorist organization and are Iran-backed. We have, obviously, like I mentioned to General Steph Twitty, this issue in Israel with the Lebanon border when it comes to Hezbollah. I mean, these are all backed terrorist organizations courtesy of Iran. Isn't it just a whole lot of fallacy to sit there and say that Iran cannot be involved in this, especially with the United States now having 3 service members killed?
Well, you're right to say that Iran is 100% involved, even if they're not ordering or executing every single attack that is taken by these Iran-backed groups against military bases and outposts that are American in the region. At the end of the day, these Iran-backed groups would not exist and would not have these capabilities if it weren't for Iran, because Iran is the one that funds them, arms them, they train them, they give them intelligence capabilities to know where to target. These are, at the end of the day, juvenile, toddler kind of terrorist groups, if you will, or militias. They wouldn't have this capability if it weren't for Iran. So you can't say that Iran is not involved. And that is why you saw the U.S. go after these logistical targets and locations where they are Iran-backed groups, but some of them are straight up from the IRGC. So some of them are Iranian. They're just outside of Iran's borders. But that said, I want to be clear here. This is activity that was taking place before Israel-Gaza conflict. It worsened when that happened because for them it was an opportunity to seek legitimacy by goading the United States into a war.
Hagar, I got about 30 seconds, but I wanted to ask you about this. Before the airstrikes happened on Friday, a lot of people don't know, but there were charges that were lodged against people that were facilitating the sale of oil to be able to help Iran and Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations. How effective are those measures, the sanctions and the criminal charges that are sought by the United States government?
Yes, sanctions can be very effective, but unfortunately, one of the things I can tell you, having worked in sanctions for a long time at Treasury, is that when you close one loophole, these nefarious actors are usually able to try and find others. It's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. So they do work because not only do they isolate them from the U.S. financial system, but by exposing who it is, what front organizations they use, what vessels they use, which business people they use, it unleashes these market forces around the world where everyone says, oh, thanks. OK, we won't do business with them either. But it is a constant effort. You can never sanction and then just rest on your laurels. It is a constant effort to enforce them.